Welcome everybody to our first Go Live adventure. We agreed that we were going to talk on different items or topics or what have you to invite you into our home, our lives, and our relationship.
Yes. We're excited to do this. And in these times that we're all stuck at home, we hope to offer some positivity and just to keep things real and to share where we're at as well. Mm-hmm.
So the topic, we put out that we were going to take the comments and then we were going to use those for different topics.
So we welcome that from you guys.
And today we want, I already picked the topic without
That's
Sean
right.
knowing, so why we choose each other every day. So, why do you choose me, Sean, every day?
Oh wow, he's put me on the cross. Yeah. Okay, I'll go first, I guess, huh? I choose you every day because it's not really it's tricky for me. It's not about why I choose you every day, it's about how I choose you every day. And I choose you every day because my love for you is infinite, and that's a fact. But how I can choose you every day consciously and sometimes subconsciously in my moments begins from just waking up next to you, hearing you breathing, thinking about how I can tiptoe out of the bedroom so I don't wake you, um, into making our first coffee together and looking forward to that. Um, Especially with these times, I used to rush out to work before Rock even woke up. So I didn't even get a chance to actually see you in the mornings at all. So I'd only see you in the afternoons when I got home from work at about 3-ish. And this whole COVID thing is offering us a beautiful way to actually engage in the day together from start to finish. And I love that I can get to choose you in even more moments than I did before. Before it's a thought, it's a message, it's an intention that I send out to you to tell you that I love you. Now I get to do more with you. I get to put my hands to our task together. Um, I get to look out for you, and we check in with each other quite a bit. With meals and other things. Have you drunk enough water? Just simple things like that.
Yeah.
So it's these ways that I feel I can choose you in my moment, and I I definitely know that you know every time I wake up and when I go to sleep at night as well, it's gratitude that fills my heart for you, to have you in my life, and to be here for you in each moment is such a gift. I don't know how long it will last. They say nothing lasts forever. So um, with all this happening as well around us, it's made me realize how important and how short life is. So I've become a bit more conscious of those moments, you know, with you in a very different way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
True.
not from me.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for choosing me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for choosing me today and every day. I choose you in my sleep. I dreamt of you before I met you. I called you before I saw you. And I ached for you before I even knew who you were. Remember, I used to put flyers into the night on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing. I know you're working on you while I'm working on me. And when you reached out with the flyer of friendship, I really appreciated your sincerity. That you didn't come at me with any kind of agenda. You just said, you seem to be a nice person, and I appreciate certain aspects of your life. Could we talk about those? And the fact that we both live in a life of leather, and that's part of our identity and our relationship. What does that mean? The fact that I came to you as a sober person. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And we had these norms that for each other weren't normal, right? So whether it was the 12-hour difference, the global difference,
yeah.
right? Cultural differences, I've lived on the East Coast and West Coast. You've lived in Singapore and Australia. So we had this cacophony of differences. And that delighted me. That delighted me. And the more I got to know you, the deeper I fell for you, and initially as a friend, I just really appreciated your authenticity, that you were willing to be vulnerable in areas that are difficult and that you were willing to reveal insecurities and fears, trusting that I was going to be honorable. Thank God I'm an honorable person today.
You
Thank God I'm
are.
sober,
Mhm.
and when you landed as my friend, just to come for a stopping point on your way to the US, as soon as you got off the plane, I was like, oh my God, who is this woman? I fell for you over and over, and I fall for you over and over and over. Who you are is not who I met. Who I am is not who you met. We're exponentially growing towards becoming the greater authenticity of ourselves. And I had to overcome a lot of barriers and walls that I had built for self-preservation and protection. And I was desperate to reveal myself to you,
Oh.
and I didn't realize how screwed up I was when it came to relationships, Um, and I think that's a lot of fear and a lot of grief and things that aren't resolved that blocked me. And so today, my sleep isn't the greatest. I might get, 2 to 4, maybe sometimes 6 hours. So I wake up all the time through the night.
Yeah.
I love looking over and seeing you there. I do. Whether you're starfishing all over the
Oh my
bed or,
God. Or snoring, it seems.
right, right. How grateful I am that it's you. How grateful that I am when I close my eyes and open them, you're still there. I don't take you for granted. I'm desperate not to take you for granted. How's that? And I'm willing to do anything for you to become the best version of you that you choose, that you decide as you unfold. Knowing something that's right for me doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you. And the only way to find that out is to let you find that out. And so I don't know who you're going to become. I know she's beautiful. I know she's amazing. I know she's a heart talker. I know she is everything to me. So when I go through challenges or difficulties, I don't want that to negatively influence you. So how do I invite you into my negative feelings and thoughts without being negative towards you?
Ah, that's a very good point.
Right? So how do I rein my shit in? And I love our daily readings that we're doing together. You're right. We haven't had that foresight in the past. We were so busy doing life, you know what I mean? Jobs, work, what have you,
Yeah.
that we weren't able to see each other. And what a tragedy that would have been had we continued on that path, not even knowing we were doing that. We don't step away from our lives and look at
Unless it's something like this, isn't it?
True,
And everyone's being offered this opportunity.
true, true. So what do you think we do that helps us to keep reaching for us?
Okay. um, it's interesting. I had to pause and think about it because a lot of it is very subconscious now. So when I have to think about what are these things that we do to keep reaching, isn't it? We basically, I know we're very, or we've become increasingly self-aware of our inner worlds so that we can also see the other better. And because of that, if there's any schism, within ourselves or within the other, it's felt straight away.
True.
So that the initial disconnect, say one person is basically going through some inner turmoil, and the other one notices it. From my own experience as your other half, I know it. I feel that disconnect. I feel the pang of sadness because I know you are going through something.
Mm.
And then the reach is there next, Before it was a very all over the place reach. It was like, oh my God, can I be there for you in some way? Or I didn't know how to respect your space or where you're at. I thought the goal was to quickly resolve it and, make everything back to status quo. I thought that was how it should be,
Right.
and it was very hard to sit in those feelings of discomfort before. It made me very uncomfortable and restless. But now, over time, over these 5 years, I realized it's the opposite. I almost invite those moments because both of us are very good at having gates and forts and soldiers, before those feelings and emotions get revealed. So when they do come out, I have turned around to look at them as an opportunity of to offer that person the opportunity to actually be vulnerable. And however that looks like, And there are times that I can sense, especially if I'm, like, say, I'm in the middle of doing something and then I notice that I'm not ready to actually, I need to do a few things to disconnect from what I'm doing before I can really be there for you. So the best thing I can do in those times is to actually just say, to reach out and say, hey, are you okay? Would you like a drink? Or, is there anything I can get for you? Sometimes I might say, oh, I notice you're not feeling, 100%. What can I do, to support you? Or I love you. And then honor that, afterwards. And it's just about honoring that space within ourselves and for each other, and reaching out in ways that that is almost, sometimes we reach out because of what we want, what our needs might be, or that initial feeling of something that's not right within ourselves, and then we reach out to the other to almost resolve it. But instead to reach out to you like wholly for you,
That's tricky, huh?
It's tricky, but it's just, it's getting also easier to see how to do that,
Yeah.
And it took 5 years, so it's not easy, these things at the start, relationships can be really messy, and there are lots of points of contention and triggers all over the place, especially for both of us. We've had some difficulties in our past, that have affected who we are today. And navigating those triggers early on has helped us, I'm glad we went through that. And now we get to a place of understanding. And it's because we were open, it's because we chose to, in the time it was hard to maybe talk about the triggers, but we always somehow found a way to communicate. So I would say communication is one of the top things,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we are learning on an ongoing basis of what that means. Communication, I can only bring you where I'm at the time, right? So when we first met, I had all my expectations and experiences.
Okay.
So, right, all the past relationship scripts, you always, she never, he blah, 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 right? So, the inability to open my mind to newness. And yet, because of, in part, not only what you speak, the way you speak, right? So your accent and and words like glue and boot
Oh.
and things like that,
Yeah.
right? It made me really pay attention to what you were saying. You know, sometimes I look at your mouth while you're talking, trying to understand the words. Or I'll say that again, please. You know, sometimes I just love hearing your accent, and other times I, really want to climb in deeper. And so when we navigated what was normal, right? What is it normally like when couples fight? Well, we came with our list from the last dynamic and the one before or the one before that we brought to each other. So how do we negotiate a new place?
Yeah.
And part of that was learning, like we talked about yesterday, the timing. The timing is critical. When I'm emotionally in upheaval, it's not a good time. When you're emotionally in upheaval, it's not a good time.
Right.
That's when you say the shit you wish you could take back. And that we do well because we don't utter those words.
Yeah.
We don't say those things. We've never sworn at each other. We've never made declarations. We've never threatened. And, because inherently there isn't anything we won't do to get to one another versus get back at one another. That retaliation that comes from pain and sadness. I can accept you in sadness, and yet there's a part of me sometimes that wants to fix it because it hurts to see you sad. Just like the same for you. You've watched me go through some heavy duty stuff over the past couple of years, and in that we didn't know what we were going to be on the other end of that because we had to overcome some seriously heavy shit.
Some make or break shit,
Literally.
Mm.
And I think because we're committed to us,
right,
whatever that means, however that looks, it doesn't matter the country or the time of day or who's around us. You and I do us well. We are the priority for each other. And I like some of the outcomes of what we're going through. The COVID thing has been massive, watching all of our family, your folks having to fly back early, or places we couldn't go to. We haven't been able to hug our grandchildren.
Oh, that's been hard.
It's been major adjustments, and yet we keep hunting for what's good. Well, what's missing? Well, we missed each other, right? So now we do coffee time and reading in the morning that we were doing separate, yet now we're doing it together.
Yeah, that's true. We were doing it separately.
Right? You were in your corner, I was in the plant room, and so that's been different. Not everything, we always say, oh, I hate change. Well, thank God for change. I wouldn't want to be in the same place we were 5 years ago.
Right.
Or 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, or last year.
Yeah.
Or
even yesterday, every day's a new day.
True. Yeah. True. And so every day I choose you as the beacon in my life. I sure do love you.
Thank you for choosing me. I'm so grateful that you chose me, And it's nice to remind each other sometimes,
Right.
Like even we both we have some insecurities sometimes that pop up, also from the past. And in those moments we feel like, the other person could do way better than us, Right?
Well, that's a fact for you.
Oh no! Oh my God!
It is, my love. In the grand scale, no one hunts for the old broken guy.
It applies to me too. Like, I look at you and I go, oh my goodness, in my most broken moments, like, Jesus, he could have any other girl, who doesn't come with X, Y, and Z baggage and this trigger and that, oh my God. And but then in those moments, it's so nice, like, to just reach out to the other and go, hey, remember, I choose you today. That's when you did that to me. It was almost like a reset, that it's not about my self-pity and wallowing going on here. Wait a minute. He still chooses me despite this. Those have been great reminders, And I think it's nice in relationships that we remind each other of that. Yeah, that we, hey, I choose you today in this state of, oh my God, fuckery,
Yeah.
part of the language.
Yeah.
I choose you. Guess what? It's you that I choose. Yeah. So we never take each other for granted that way,
True.
And we have to remember to do those things sometimes, because we can get so busy and we think that the other person should be well and truly aware of our love for them, but can never underestimate how much, they need to know that.
True.
Mm.
True. Thank you for choosing me, and thank you for sharing today.
Thank you for sharing as well, and thank you for being part of this, everyone.
Yeah, and then we look forward to your comments to figure out another topic you'd like to hear us have a little coffee and conversation about.
Yeah, we welcome that.
And we look forward to seeing you all again.
Bye.
Bye.
You'll be able to choose if you want to save or delete it, yeah? So we can save.